And so Inanna makes her preparation to go into the underworld, and she does this by donning 7 of the May garments and leaving 7 of her temples. Or at least 7 of them are chronicled. Now 7, of course, is a very important archetypal number, and we see it repeated in mythoi throughout the world. One reason why 7 is important is because the ancients, many of whom were very good astrologers, knew of the existence of 7 planets. 7 is also important because the moon was important, and the moon had a cycle of 28 days, and it went through 4 phases, and 4 into 28, of course, is 7. Now 3 also is a very important archetypal number, and we see that in the descent of Inanna because Inanna tells her servant Ninshubar that she should go tell 3 gods about her plight if she is gone for 3 days and 3 nights. I have never heard a really good explanation as why 3 is so important, but it is, and you also see that in mythoi throughout the world. Now the number 3 in this aspect is important, is because of the 3 days that she spends in the underworld, which is, of course, the same amount of time in Christian myth when Jesus is dead for 3 days and 3 nights. That has its precedence way back in Sumeria with the death of Inanna. And so again, she is to Ninshubar is to rally the gods to come save her, and of course we know what happens there, but we're not quite to that yet. Gilgamesh is the oldest piece of literature of which we have knowledge and which has been written down. Inanna comes after that, but I like some of the literary devices, and I'm not going to go into those in depth because this isn't a literature class, but I have to mention at least one. The poem begins, "From the great above she opened her ear to the great below. From the great above the goddess opened her ear to the great below. From the great above Inanna opened her ear to the great below." This is goes from the general of she to the goddess to Inanna. No mistaking who it is that this poem is going to be about. So aside from the numbers and the literary aspects, we have Inanna going into the underworld. And when she gets to the first gate, Nettie the gatekeeper comes and is surprised and shocked to see this magnificent goddess standing outside the door, and go ask Ereshkigal what to do. And Ereshkigal says, let her in, but at each gate she has to give up one of the May articles, and that's what she does. Each time she gets to a gate, she has to take off one of her articles of clothing or jewelry, and each time she does, she asks Nettie, "What is this?" And Nettie says, "Quiet, Inanna. The ways of the underworld are perfect. They may not be questioned." Don't question the rules. Status quo. This is the way it is, and this is the way it goes. Which could have been the same thing that would have been said to Osiris had he questioned, "Why can't I stay alive?" That's the ways of the underworld, and those rules were put into emotion or into effect long before the gods even came into existence. And so Inanna, by the time she gets through the 7th gate, she's naked. She has no finery, she has no jewelry, she has nothing. And this is very symbolic, and you probably already guessed this, very symbolic of what it is when you die. You were born naked, and when you leave naked. You're not going to take your clothes, you're not going to take your shoes, you're not going to take your car. And when you get into the Hall of Judgment in Egypt, or you get into Ker in Sumeria, or you get before the throne of Yahweh in Christianity and you stand before those deities, you stand there just yourself. Now, in many polytheistic religions, the deities are mortal like humans. Egypt, obviously, Sumeria, Norse. Now, in the Olympian gods are not mortal, and of course monotheistic gods are not mortal. But in this myth, it shows how even the gods who undergo death, They're no different and they're no better than the humans who undergo death. So death is indeed the great equalizer.